How weak and pathetic is a guy like that?
Mama Kamala just don't give a frack.
Isn't that great? He's not very funny. That guy. I go on a show, and he goes, "Is that your real hair?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Do you mind if I mess it up?" I said, "I'd prefer it if you didn't, to be honest, but if you have to." So he grabs it, and he starts really going crazy, right? And everybody laughed, and it was a big thing. It was a big hit. It was all over the place, and he got great ratings and all. And 6 months later, he went out because he was under pressure to apologize because he humanized Donald Trump. Do you remember? And he stood up and he said, "I'd like to apologize. 6 months ago, or whatever it was, I messed up Donald Trump's hair and it humanized him and he became president. And I would like to apologize." How weak.
Fallon just dropped a truth bomb so wild, even Trump's spray tan looked like it was sweating. 1 second, it's all laughs. Then boom, Trump's typing out an all-caps meltdown like his phone just robbed him. Was it an impression? A hidden secret from the vault? Or just Fallon being Fallon? Doesn't matter. The internet is on fire, memes are spreading like wildfire, and Trump's rage level just hit somebody hide his phone territory.
Today at the White House, President Trump held his first cabinet meeting. Yeah, and the meeting was very productive. The first half was spent kissing Trump's butt. The second half was spent kissing Elon's.
The fallout was instantaneous. Somewhere in Mar-a-Lago, the air was thick with rage, and an iPhone was undoubtedly being hammered by the fury of 1,000 thumbs the moment Fallon dropped his bombshell. The internet exploded, clips of the segment spreading like wildfire. Memes sprang to life at an alarming pace, and every late-night host scrambled to put their own twist on the chaos.
Trump's upcoming election interference trial, federal prosecutors are planning to use his own words against him. Trump wasn't too happy to hear that. They've been using his exact words. In fact, he just issued a statement that all of my quotes should be completely anonymous. Or as he calls it,
Anonymous.
He said it's un-American and shouldn't happen in the United States. Or as he calls it,
United States.
This wouldn't be allowed in other countries like Namibia or Thailand, or as he calls them.
Social media became an absolute circus. Half the internet was in tears, laughing, while the other half braced for what they knew was coming. An all-caps firestorm that would invade timelines any second now. Experts speculated on how many exclamation points would be unleashed, while amateur graph analysts compared past rants, trying to predict the exact wording of the inevitable meltdown.
Now, Jimmy Fallon, he says, "Hey, Trump, they say your hair is a toupee." He said, "My hair's not a toupee. It's my hair." He says, "You sure? Can I touch it?"
Did I mess your hair up?
My hair's.
He messes with his hair. Guess what? Done. The world watching and said, he let Jimmy play with his hair. These are moments where people kind of say.
News outlets had a field day. Panels of commentators dissected every word, treating the revelation like a leaked government document. Talk shows went back and forth, debating whether this was the greatest late-night roast of all time or just another chapter in the never-ending Trump saga. Even rival politicians, who typically stuck to actual policy debates, couldn't resist throwing in a few jabs of their own.
United States and Canada to merge. Right now, everyone who moved to Canada after Trump won is like, well, I guess it's off to the North Pole. I mean, what do we do? Where do we gotta go to? What do we do? I don't know what to...
Meanwhile, Trump's inner circle was in full scramble mode. Advisors likely tried to calm the storm, recommending a more measured response, only to be waved off as the former president went into full damage control. Statements were quickly drafted, insults fine-tuned, and a counterattack set into motion.
Save TikTok. Monday, start job. Tuesday, watch TikTok. Wednesday, back to job. Thursday, meetings, give some orders, tell his staff, make meetings shorter. Friday, talk about the border, yell fake news at the reporters. Work then golf, then jump on plane. Note to self, learn BP's name. Work then golf, make junior caddy. Call to Fox News, call to Vladdy. Higher than fire, then invade Canada. Way too cold, trade it for Panama. Higher than fire, then invade Greenland. Boring, trade it for New Zealand. Golf work, golf 10 on a roll. Work golf 10, work TikTok scroll. First week over, thank the nation. Second week, time for vacation.
Back in New York, Fallon and his team were already celebrating. The reaction was bigger than they'd expected, and the internet had turned the moment into viral gold. But the real question lingered. Had Fallon just delivered the ultimate late-night takedown, or had he unknowingly handed Trump another reason to dominate the headlines? One thing was certain, this feud was far from over. Jimmy Fallon had the crowd exactly where he wanted them, on the edge of their seats, completely unaware that they were about to witness one of the most chaotic moments in late-night history. The monologue had been light, the jokes flowing effortlessly, but then came the big one. Fallon's grin stretched wider, his tone dropped, and suddenly, the audience could feel it. Something huge was about to drop. Then boom, it wasn't just a joke. It wasn't just a gag. Fallon had unearthed something so wild, so unbelievable, that even the band stopped playing. Was it an unseen blooper? A cringe-worthy forgotten moment? A secret so ridiculous that even Trump's most loyal supporters had to take a step back? Whatever it was, it sent the studio into absolute pandemonium.
America decided to get back with the crazy ex and elect Donald Trump as the 47th president of the United States. No matter who you voted for, I think all Americans can agree it's going to be a rough Thanksgiving. Really, right? Yep, Trump returning to the White House is a huge historic comeback for someone who literally never went away. Of course, Trump's already super busy. First, he's got to move all those classified documents back into the White House. Yeah, Republicans were thrilled about last night until they realized it's going to be 4 more years of Melania's Christmas decorations.
People gasped. Others shrieked with laughter. Some clutched their chests as if they'd just witnessed a supernatural event. And Fallon? He stood there, soaking in the energy of a crowd that knew they were watching viral history unfold in real time. Before the moment even had a chance to settle, the internet had already detonated. Twitter was in full-blown crisis mode. TikTok became a storm of reactions, breakdowns, and fan edits. Facebook turned into a battleground of boomer rage versus meme-fueled joy. Reddit's front page was completely hijacked. New memes popped up at an alarming rate, and screenshots of Fallon's face, frozen mid-mic drop, were edited into historical photos, as if he had just rewritten world history. Someone had already turned the reveal into a full-blown cinematic trailer, complete with dramatic music and slow-motion effects. Meanwhile, conspiracy theorists worked overtime, scrambling to find ways to spin this into something even bigger. Was this planned? A distraction? Had Fallon been waiting for the perfect moment to drop this nuclear-grade comedy bomb? While the internet burned, one place in America was definitely shaking with rage. Somewhere in Mar-a-Lago, an iPhone was being slammed against the desk.
5 weeks have been shock and awful. And even now the MAGA faithful are starting to notice, because according to a Republican pollster, Trump voters are getting buyer's remorse. They voted for Trump because they said he would bring prices down on day one. That was his claim. He said it over and over again. And now on day 38, they still think things are too expensive. Somewhere in Delaware, Joe Biden is shaking his head, chuckling to himself and thinking, why did I come into this room? Some MAGA voters also don't like how Trump is letting Elon slice through the federal government like a drunk raccoon with a samurai sword, with one of them telling the pollsters there's a lot of babies being tossed out with the bathwater. Well, that's not surprising. That's how Trump raised Eric. I forgot to lock the door, and he keeps crawling back in. That same Trump voter went on to explain, if we had a drinking game where everyone took a drink when we heard the words reverse course or walking back, we'd be drunk in 20 minutes. Why wait 20 minutes?